Not a spontaneous act by the defendant. He planned out the execution of John Claude James so he can have his gold chain. He gunned down a defenseless 26-year-old man, Mr. Franklin, prisons are built for convicted murderers like you. I have an obligation to protect society from cold-blooded murderers like you, and I intend to fulfill my obligations, Mr. Franklin. The victim frequently wore a gold joker chain. The defendant was aware that the victim wore this gold joker chain, and the defendant wanted that gold chain because the defendant was interested in its monetary value. On July 9th, 2011, at approximately 6 p.m., an eyewitness observed the defendant shoot the victim in the chest with a silver handgun near the intersection of Howard Avenue and Putnam Street in the Hill. The victim did suffer 3 gunshot wounds, and he never regained consciousness, and he died on the street that day. The victim was unarmed when he was executed by the defendant. The defendant is 22 years old. Both of his parents have been incarcerated multiple times, and his grandmother, to her credit, was his primary caregiver when he was growing up. And I did catch, as Attorney Doyle did in the pre-sentence investigation, the comment that when Mr. Franklin was interviewed by the probation officer, that he said at the age of 15 years old, he grew tired of his grandmother's rules, and he left his grandmother at that time. And unfortunately, Mr. Franklin, the citizens of the state would have been much better if you followed your grandmother's rules, stayed with your grandmother, followed her rules, and never left. It's obvious to this court that Cody Franklin has to be one of the most, if not the most, dangerous criminals in the state of Connecticut. He has 3, I repeat, 3 pending murder cases against him. 2 more in the city of New Haven and 1 in Waterbury. He has a prior conviction for selling drugs. Now, the impact on the victim's family, in one word, has been devastating. John Claude James was 26 years old when he was murdered. Besides his mother, his sister, his uncle, and an extended adult family, he leaves behind 2 children, currently aged 6 and 9. His loss, as we've heard here today, has been especially devastating to them. They will have to navigate through life without their father because of the senseless and cowardly act of Cody Franklin. By all accounts, and I did enjoy hearing the accounts of John Claude James. He was a very popular young man in the Hill section of New Haven. He had his whole life in front of him. He was very loyal to his family. I think he talked to his mother every day, if I recall the testimony at the trial. Sentences as follows. On the first count, murder in the first degree, the maximum I'm imposing, you're committed to the Commission of Corrections for a period of 60 years to serve. That is the maximum. On the third count, which is the robbery in the first degree, your sentence is 20 years to serve to run concurrent with the murder. On the fourth count, which is carrying a pistol without a permit, it is 5 years to serve to run concurrent. And on the last count, criminal possession of the pistol, it's 5 years to serve to run consecutive.